Hey all, it's Alma with the Cat's Pajamas, and today I want to show you how to use the spiral pop-up die to create this spring butterfly card. For this card, we'll be using 3 dies to start: the spiral pop-up, the butterfly trio, and the Flutter by cut-ups die that comes with 2 tiny butterflies that I'll also be using. I've gone ahead and used the spiral cut-up on a piece of yellow cardstock. It cuts the whole die except a little piece by the outer tab. Go ahead and disconnect the die cut. You can use the die with the outside tab on the bottom, and that gives more space for your die cuts, or with the center tab on the bottom. That gives less space. I've cut the 4 big butterflies and 3 small butterflies out of the white cardstock, and we'll set 1 big one aside to cover the tab at the end, and we'll start attaching the butterflies to the spiral. I like using Art Institute glue for this. It's strong and it dries clear and it dries fast. Now I'm just tucking the butterflies in and attaching one to each spiral. Now for the small butterflies, you've seen me use this trick before. I have this acetate strip with double-sided tape on the top and bottom, and I cut smaller strips from it. They're great for popping up things like butterflies to give more depth and movement. And I'm attaching the strips to the butterflies and then to the spiral. See how it gives more movement? One last butterfly, right toward the center. Looks pretty cool. Now I'm using the Folk Art Flower stamp set for the rest of the card. It has great sentiments and a lot of stamps that you can mix and match. The Folklore Flowers die is the matching die. And I've gone ahead and used VersaFine Clair in black and Marvy yellow dye ink for the flower heads. I've also cut the large rectangle from the rectangle stamp die. Now let's put the front of the card together. I've got a white 5.5 inch by 4.25 inch piece of white cardstock. And I'm going to glue a 1/4 inch strip of white and gray striped paper to the right side of the paper. I'm just going to trim the excess off. Now I'll place the Flutter by die on the right side of the paper next to the stripe and run it through the die machine. What's so great about the Flutter by die is that it pierces, embosses, and it cuts at the same time. So when you poke the holes out and you put a color cardstock on the back, the color peeks through. Now here I'm gluing the front down onto yellow cardstock, but later on I'll be taking it off to hide some twine. I'm going to be using the rectangular stamp die as a frame. So I'll put strips of foam adhesive on the back, and I'll position my flowers so they look like they're growing out of the frame. I'm going to be gluing them to the frame and to themselves. I'll be covering up most of the stems with a sentiment that I've stamped and embossed with detail white embossing powder, so I want to make sure I don't cover up the pretty flowers when I put the sentiment on. To add some pattern to the card, I've cut a strip of paper with my grass die to cross over the card. Cute! And I'll just add more foam tape to the back of the flowers and attach it to the front of the card. Foam tape on the back of the sentiment. That little space above the top flower is a little bit empty, so I'm going to add some pollen from the stamp set in Marvy Brilliant Yellow. And I think I'm going to put the grass on foam tape. A little trim and the sentiment on top. After I put the sentiment on top, I really wanted to add more pattern to this card by adding gray divine twine on top of the grass. So I pulled off the sentiment and I added the twine. I'll put the sentiment on top. I think it looks so much better with the twine. And now for a little bow fussing. Then I realized the twine shows on the inside, and I didn't want that. So I pulled off the white front and attached it to a fresh yellow card base. A little glue, and no one will notice, right? Now let's do the inside. I stamped the sentiment with Stampin' Up! White craft ink and embossed with detail white embossing powder and layered it on top of the same gray and white striped paper I used on the front. And now for the butterflies. Remember that fourth butterfly we set aside at the beginning? I've added the fourth butterfly to cover the outside tab of the spiral, but I'm going to attach a glue dot on the front of that tab. And also on the back center tab, I've attached a glue dot. Turn the butterflies upside down and position on the card so that nothing is poking out. We don't want anything to spoil the surprise. Now once I get it placed, I fold over the top of the card and give it a good press. And the exposed adhesive will stick, so now's the time to use a little bit of powder over the adhesive. Now we'll close it again and open it. And you have a wonderful spiral card that will make any heart flutter. I hope you give our spiral butterfly card a try. Have a great day.